Passion our purpose, profit our pain. I don't want my name to ever be in vain. A life full of substance is the only thing that will remain the same. Millennial thoughts.
Basically, we're a mental empowerment retreat and event company for women. So we do different stress management, purpose, accountability, finding your peace. We just do different themed workshops, or not workshops, I would say more so retreats, virtually and physically. We were supposed to go to Kenya this July for women to do a retreat on self-discovery, but we had to postpone it till next July.
Okay, do you know Tyscheria?
I do. We
That's
do.
where I know you from.
Yeah, and now you sound even closer. So I don't know what just happened, but you sound a
Oh.
lot better.
Okay, I'm trying to get as close as I can to the phone, but yes, oh my goodness, I was like, okay, that's where I heard of it from, because I think I really asked you a couple of questions because I was interested. Oh yeah, because I was actually supposed to be traveling too, because I was supposed to be in Asia, and I think because you were talking about you had like three or more spots left, like in Kenya or something like that. I think I talked to you on that thread or something like that.
Yeah.
I
So
was like, you do sound familiar.
we
You're
had
fat.
to postpone the whole thing, but it's okay. We
Oh,
we
yes.
retained most of our travelers, which is good. So
Mhm.
most of them wanted to postpone, which is totally fine. So it worked out really well.
Okay, so and it's going to be in July of
Uh
next year.
uh-huh.
Is that
Yep. We move this to July next year. Mm-hmm.
okay? Yeah, well, you could talk about that too. You can put that on there, the podcast. I just really wanted to be like a resource, for millennials so they can learn about different things. And I haven't really talked about it too much, and so I'm just trying to connect into different things going on in the community and stuff like that. And so I
Absolutely.
just wanted to reach out, and yeah, because I think you're in. Are you in the Navigating 20s group or something like that?
Yes. I'm in that.
Girlfriends.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so yeah, that's where I technically, I guess I met you through that.
Absolutely. And so I kind of follow you a little bit on YouTube, and like I know you always
Hmm.
comment on Tashira's stuff, and I do sometimes if I
Yeah,
remember. Yep. So
yeah.
it's awesome. I love supporting her.
Oh yes, I know. Oh yeah, because I was like, I don't think we're friends, but yeah, I did post something. I'm trying to reach 700 subscribers by tomorrow, so I can say that I got 100 subscribers in a month. So I'm really, really pushing a lot.
Oh yeah.
And I have one more day.
All right. Well,
So
I
I'm
love it.
at
I love it. Well, I'll make sure. Or are you trying to do it for YouTube or for your anchor?
no YouTube. Oh, YouTube. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
at 697. So for YouTube.
Okay. I'm so
Um,
proud of you. That's so great.
Yes, thanks. I can send it to you after this too, but yeah, I'm trying to reach it, so that's why I posted up in there. And I've met with Tashiri a couple of times, so yeah, I just always try to talk and support, to just keep the algorithm and stuff, and also to answer some questions to get some feedback. I
Yeah,
like that.
absolutely.
So yeah, that's basically we'll just uh talk about the project to passport. I know we were thinking about talking about COVID and what else did we say?
Yeah.
COVID and like stress and stuff like that, and like in this time, and maybe like different ways they can cope with this. So this is the third interview. So if I get the dates correctly, I don't know if like y'all are still in lockdown. You live in North Carolina.
Yeah, we're still
Um
in lockdown. Mm-hmm.
so I know like people like Georgia and stuff is not, but your episode will actually come out on the what's today, 30th, so the 14th, I believe, because I have two other people, and so we could talk about COVID. We could talk about stress too. I mean, I guess COVID is still going to go on, but I don't know if people are going to be still locked down, if that makes any sense.
Okay. Yeah, that's
Um,
totally fine.
so we can just do the conversation by that. And I want to make sure I pronounce your name right. So how do you say it?
Yes, Sabriya.
Sabriya. Okay. And is there anything that you want me to say in your introduction? Do you want to introduce yourself? I usually just give my guests the option.
Um, oh, here, I subscribed to your adventures. I thought I was already
Thanks.
subscribed. Well, I think I
Oh
was
yeah.
subscribed on my other profile and I just did it on the other
Mm-hmm.
one. Perfect. Okay. Sorry. I got
Oh.
distracted. Okay. What was I gonna say? I can do my introduction. That's fine. I hate putting the
Okay.
pressure on people to do it. So that's totally fine.
Oh, and they're going to take the sub away. So if you have time, if you can just play like a minute or two of the video, so they don't take my sub away after this or whatever. But yeah. So I'll just say, hey, this is Sabriya. She is the founder of Project Passport, And then I'll be like, I'll just let you introduce yourself. And like she hosts mental wellness retreats, and I'm glad to have her on the show today. And I'll be like, hey, how are you? And then I'll just let you introduce yourself.
Okay.
The rest of the stuff that you want to say.
All right. Sounds good. So,
All right.
okay.
I'm good. Give me about 5 seconds, and we can go from there. And thanks for your support for the YouTube.
Absolutely.
All right. Hello, welcome back to Millennial Thoughts with Alicia. I am so excited that y'all are tuned in with the special guest just wanting to show resources for millennials and provide access to the community. Today we have someone special. Her name is Sabriya, and she is the founder of Project Passport, and she focuses on mental wellness retreats, or she does them. And so, okay, maybe I should redo that introduction because I don't know if you just focus on that. So
No, it's okay. But
it was good. I didn't want to say focus
and
on
you
that
can,
and it's
and
like
yeah, it's totally
specializing.
fine. And you can also just say, I like to welcome Sabriya. Sabriya, tell everybody about yourself. You can do it that way. I don't want to put the pressure on you.
Okay.
I know how it is. Trust me, girl. That's hard.
Okay, I'll switch it around then. Okay. All right, Google back. So 5 more seconds. Hello, welcome back to Millennial Thoughts with your girl Alicia. I just want to say thank you all for coming and joining. As y'all know, this is a podcast for resources for millennials. If y'all have not checked out any of the other episodes, make sure you check them out after this one. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, Millennial Thoughts Pod, and give us a rating on Apple, iTunes, Google Play, wherever it's at. Today we are having a special guest where we're talking about mental health and wellness, and her name is Sabriya, and I'll let her introduce herself to y'all.
Hi,
Hey.
hi, Alicia. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here, everyone. I'm Sabriya Dobbins, and I'm a life discovery expert. I'm the author of the blog Living Life Full Force, and I'm the founder and CEO of Project Passport. Project Passport is a mental empowerment retreat and event company targeted for women to help them regain control of their lives, to rediscover the joy that they're entitled to, and to focus on their mental well-being. So I'm really excited to be here once again, and I cannot wait to kick this thing off.
Yes, that was a great introduction. Definitely did way better than me.
Look,
I'm
I've had
cracking up, but
practice. I've had plenty of time to practice, right?
yes, literally. I am literally cracking up. But also I also not necessarily want to plug, but I do want to iterate that like I met her through Facebook. Okay, y'all, I'm a huge
Yes.
connected online networking person, and I just try to show that everybody that I connect with on my podcast, like they don't even live in my area. They're always she's in North Carolina. They're like I have
Yes.
somebody in London, somebody in California, Florida, like they're always all over the place. So online networking is really great, and I want to be able to provide these resources and share them with everybody. So I also thank you for coming on this podcast and sharing your expertise and just chit-chatting a little bit about life right now for millennials.
Absolutely. I'm over here in Raleigh, North Carolina. So,
I've heard so much about that lately. I heard it's kind of booming, or it's kind of getting booming. I never been there before, but I really want to go to Charlotte. But I might have to go check out Raleigh too. I don't know. My friend lives like close to Fort Bragg area.
Yeah, I'm from that area. I'm from
Yeah.
Fayetteville, so I
Oh,
know the
oh,
area.
you are? Yes,
Yeah.
Fayetteville. Okay, I might have to come to North Carolina one time, but I ain't been there in a long, long time. But we'll see.
Yeah, you should
With
check it
traveling
out.
bans, I don't know when I'll be able to get over there. I was supposed to go to Charlotte in May, but with travel bans,
Oh
don't know about that
yeah,
one.
I know. North Carolina's, as of March, we'd had our stay-at-home orders. Of course, it may change, in the coming weeks or whatnot. But it's been a really interesting time. But one thing I can say is Raleigh is a really, really great place for millennials. Like it is booming in a way of you can really start up and build your life because there's so many careers, healthcare, tech, all kinds of things you can do, and it's a great place for startups too as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so how long have you been there?
I actually went to NC State, go Wolfpack. I went
Okay.
there back in 2013. So I've been living in Raleigh since 2013, pretty much, since I graduated high school.
Oh, you graduated high school? I graduated high school 2013 too.
Yes, girl. Look at it. I love it. We're the
Yes.
same age.
Yeah, I know, right? It's so funny because when talking to you, I wouldn't even know. And this other girl, I felt like I was like, "Oh, these people sound so mature." I thought she was like almost 30 something. Like she's like, "I'm 24." I'm like, "Okay, yes, we're the same age out here." Like I literally thought like maybe you're older or something like that, but no, we're literally the same age. I
Absolutely.
graduated and then oh well, I went to University of Louisville, so go cards.
That's
So I
awesome.
graduated 2017, and then I graduated my master's in 2019.
Oh, you
And
go,
let me tell you,
girl.
I ain't doing no more school unless it's free. Okay.
I'm actually doing my master's too. I'm doing clinical mental health counseling, and it's kind of helping me, especially as leading a retreat. I have to understand the mental well-being aspects and all that come with it. So me getting that master's is really to help me kind of be better as a CEO and as a retreat leader for my company.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, so let's talk about that because I've always wanted to do retreats. I still want to do retreats. It don't really work out for me that well, but I'm in the travel industry, so hopefully one day I can start doing retreats. But like, how did you come up with wanting to even do a retreat, or like, how did you come up with Project Passport, and wanting to like make that your niche, like mental wellness and stuff like that?
Yeah, so I really went through a tough time. I was a really big overachiever throughout college. That I was that 4.0 valedictorian. I had
Okay,
graduated.
valedictorian. I can even say the word.
Girl, I tell you, but it really, really messed up my mental health and well-being. I got to the
Oh,
point where my value became tied to my grades. My value became tied to getting that
yeah.
internship or that job. And so it just really messed me
Mhm.
up. And it got me to a point where I was like, I know I can't be the only one going through these things. Like, people may think of it as
Mhm.
small problems, but that they really hurt me and impacted my life. And I had to really work hard to regain my confidence in who I was, even though I was accomplished.
Mhm.
People oftentimes think when you're successful that everything else falls into
Yes,
place, but that's not true.
that's true.
So I
That's
really,
not
yeah,
true.
I really wanted to create a sacred space for people to just be able to breathe, especially women, for them to be able to breathe, for them to be
Mhm.
able to go through exploration, experiential learning without any pressure to
Mhm.
be a certain way. We have a society where people are like, if you don't fill in the gaps and you don't function this way, you don't have value. So I want women to know that they have a
Mhm.
place to find themselves and to become who they want to be,
Mhm.
because I'm so sick of settling in my life, which I've done I was a spectator to myself for a very long time. Very long time.
Mhm. Yeah, I think I understand what you're saying too. And thinking about it now, I was like so tied to academics, like I didn't have a chance to even learn myself or like grow within myself. And it was like, yeah, be successful. Okay, like go to college, go get this, go get good grades. And like you can have so much value, but that doesn't even turn into anything sometimes, or what you think it is to be successful, if that makes any sense.
Absolutely, absolutely. We have
And
no
so
idea. Sometimes we have no idea how bad we're hurting ourselves until we take a step back and look in the mirror.
mhm. And it's like, okay, like, yes, these academics, yes, I'm going to go to school, I'm going to get this because it's what they say that's good. Like, yes, this helps you get a job. Yes, it's do this. So, like, you're so focused on trying to get this, trying to do that. And sometimes it just, like, does not work at all.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so then you're like frustrated, like, okay, I went to school, I got good grades, but I can't even get a job. Or like, and so I'm so tied to academics. I'm so tied to this like value, like my education was my value or something like that. Like that was the value that I had. It's like you're way more like value than just if you have a degree or not, I guess in a sense.
Absolutely, absolutely. Our
So I
value,
think,
I listen to someone say this phrase that I love. Your value is there intrinsically from the day you're born. You already have your value.
mm-hmm,
So at that point, you don't really, and that will never change your value of what you are and who you are. So I think even when we accomplish things and we do things, they're great and they're enhancing to who you are, but they don't change your value.
mm-hmm.
Hmm.
That's true. Yeah, it's an enhancement. I like that.
Yeah,
It's an enhancement
absolutely.
because sometimes you do like get tied down. Like, okay, like yeah, I have a degree. Like that should have that. It should add value to you. It should not be like what your value is because you are valuable as a person.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
definitely agree with that. And so now going around with what we're learning about, and so I don't know if you can relate to this, or you might. You said you're in your master's. Do you work as well? Like, are you a counselor or something like that, or are you just like in school?
So I go to school basically, I would say kind of full slash part time. I'm a full time entrepreneur. So I ended up taking the full
Mm-hmm.
leap for my business. We're, of course, in the early phases. So I have to be more frugal. I have a
Mm-hmm.
small team of people that work for me, contractors. And so right now, with everything going on with coronavirus, we kind of are on a
Mm-hmm.
slight standstill, but we've also pushed out a few virtual things that we offer. So yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
took the leap. It was a big decision that I made by, leaving a full career. So I'm not working anything full time. But you know what?
Yeah. When did you?
Yeah,
When did you leave your career?
I would say officially I left in May of 2019. I ended up going from full
Mm-hmm.
time to part time in February 2019, and then finally I transitioned out
Mm-hmm.
to full time entrepreneur by May of last year.
Well, congratulations, shoot! I was just graduating with my degree. I should have went to full time entrepreneurship.
Girl, no,
I'm trying to
that
do
is
it
still an
now.
amazing thing to do. Yeah, and you know what?
Oh.
It's
Mm-hmm.
not been easy, of course. I mean, a lot of people think, oh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, just jump into entrepreneurship and your life will be fixed. But it's
Mm-mm.
definitely hard.
It's not
But I'm
easy.
not gonna lie to you. I'm more happy, even though I have to be frugal, I'm more happy than I've ever been now than I ever have been in my
Mm-hmm.
life, to be honest with you.
Well, yeah, that's really true. And I guess that's what I was saying. It's like, well, when we're talking about the value and stuff like that, it's like, okay, yeah, I graduated, but I can't even find a job. So it's like sometimes you kind of get thrown into entrepreneurship and what you want to do. But even that's hard too, trying to be an entrepreneur. Not saying that that's easier, but it's like,
Yeah.
okay, when you graduate, then you can't find a job, then you can't do so. You're trying to figure out what to do, what to do. And so, like, I'm in that kind of phase, like, okay, do I just want to
Oh.
start a business? Do I want to apply for a job, whatever? So that's why I was asking you. I know you were saying that, like, you were in school for time. So I didn't know if you had to deal with that, but you quit your job. So
Yeah,
you quit your job to become an
basically.
entrepreneur. So that's cool. Yeah. Is that when you started Project Passport, or do you offer other things um, within your, I guess, your field or
Yeah.
your
So
services?
I graduate with a social work degree. And so I really channel in all my stuff into my company. Before I really wasn't an entrepreneur. I'm not gonna lie. See, everybody thinks that there's this special gene or something that triggers in your brain. To me, entrepreneurs
Mm-hmm.
have to be built. They're not really, I mean, some parts are innate, but for me, I was not the entrepreneurial type at first. I was like, I'm not doing this. I mean, I'd rather stick to safety. I know that's how I was and that's how I was raised. However, that urge got so strong. I just could, it was to the point where I was constantly overwhelmed going to work. I was unhappy. I was making good money. I mean, I was doing jobs where I was making really good money, jobs where I was making okay money, still wasn't satisfied. So I knew that I
Mm-hmm.
had to make the transition. And honestly,
Mm-hmm. And that's good too.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
sometimes it's just like you're unhappy, you don't really like it. So.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And honestly, like I said, my biggest thing when I look back, I always say to myself, what's my alternative? If I go back,
Mm-hmm.
even though it's safer to go back, will I be happy? And usually and 99% of that time the answer is no.
Yeah. Sure. And so you just took like what you learned from the jobs and stuff like that, and then you just use that um for what you wanted to do. Or you were saying that you like you didn't you were unhappy with your job, and so I guess like how did that turn into entrepreneurship? You were just like, I'll just figure something out.
So, well, that's a good point. So it's a really weird story. So I did a lot of jobs. When I graduated in social work, I ended up graduating as a real estate agent working in new home sales. So
What? Oh my gosh,
I know,
yes.
right? So I worked in new home sales and I was very successful in that first year. Like I was a rookie and I was making more money than I think many people graduating college would make because I was selling houses. I was killing it. But I felt like it still wasn't my purpose. I really wasn't happy. It was kind of
Mm-hmm.
one of those things that I loved the success, but it wasn't what I wanted. But looking back, I'm so glad I did that sales job because I understood sales on a level that other people would never know. Then after that, I
Mm-hmm.
worked in higher ed, and I was working as a admissions counselor. So I learned customer service on top of that, to support that sales, to understand how do you communicate with students and helping them navigate. So you're really being that support system. So all those little skills I gained from the different jobs and internships I did really created me to be who I am as an entrepreneur now. Believe it or not, when I left Chapel Hill, which was my last job in higher ed, I moved
Okay.
to Belize. Yeah, I know it gets crazy. I
What?
moved to Belize briefly, and I was by myself often because my fiance was working a contract job out there. So I was in the silence every day. So I literally spent months peppering my brain for entrepreneurship, reading books, understanding scarcity mindset, getting out of that mindset. I literally prepped myself. So by the time I got back to the US, I was ready. I was full blown entrepreneur, and I was ready to do this thing without giving up. And here I am. It's been a little, I would say about a year almost now, and a little almost, yeah, about a year. And, we definitely made some progress in some ways. And there's been some things that we definitely want to do better, but it's been the best year of my life, I would say, even though it's been hard.
Oh my goodness, that was a
Yeah,
lot.
I know it's a long story, so
I'm
I
like,
had to condense it as best as I
that was.
could.
I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, woo, child, but you stayed in Belize. How long were you there for? You
So I was
said.
there a couple months. It was a little over a couple months. Mm-hmm.
Okay, yes. I want to visit Belize so bad.
Yes, it's pros and cons. Like, I liked it, but I definitely couldn't live there again.
Oh, cracking up. That's funny. It's crazy because it's crazy that you said it because actually I got my degree in higher ed.
That is awesome.
From Western Kentucky University.
Whoop, whoop.
But I don't know if I still want to do higher ed or not. It's just I don't know if it's for me.
I understand. I mean, and
And
I think the best thing to do is to try anything and everything. If it don't work, it don't work, because you will not regret, those learnings you've had and those things you've done, because they always somehow contribute to where you're going to be. So that's the good thing.
yeah, I see what you're
Mm-hmm.
saying. Yeah, it's not really working. I don't know why I did it, but you live and you learn.
Girl,
And now I'm $60,000.
I'm an MBA dropout. So I had started an MBA program and I hated it. And I was so embarrassed because I was so scared to drop out of that program. But when I dropped out and finally took control over my life and said, you know what, I'm going to do what works for Sabriya, it was the best decision. So it's okay.
I was thinking about dropping out too. They're like, don't drop out, don't drop out. Are y'all gonna pay these bills? I was like, I don't know if I like this. I should have did an MBA, but
Yeah.
I don't know if I have any more mental capacity to do that right now. Or people are like, you don't really need an MBA. Well, are y'all gonna help me start my business? I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur though. Even when I was younger, like even in high school, I tried to be an entrepreneur. I tried to I wanted to have a beauty supply store because I was tired of going to beauty supply stores, and I ain't seen no black people. Like we buying this stuff, and I was like, okay, so I was trying to do that. I was trying to do natural hair products, and I was going to think about that, but that was just a lot of work. I didn't really know too much or whatever. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna just try to figure out something. But I've always wanted to have a boutique. I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. So I guess that's different for me. My thing is just like trying to figure out how to do it. But I'm not really interested in like being a coach or anything like that, like a coach course or whatever. But I like to blog, I like to write. So I was like, okay, well, maybe this could be my avenue or whatever. I'm still working on it, still trying to figure it out. But I'm gonna get myself up this
all
year.
entrepreneurs are like that. I mean, a lot of people think that somehow we magically go into entrepreneurship and we just know what we're doing. Trust me, you're not gonna know what you're doing. You're gonna be making mistakes. I mean, there's things that I've made financially that was a mistake. I've made social mistakes as an entrepreneur. I've made lots of mistakes. And I mean, it's really, to me, the only real way to learn and understand that journey is to be in the trenches and to do it. You can read about it in theory. You can talk about it in theory. You can get advice from a coach in theory. But it's one thing from talking about it. It's another thing from when you actually just do it. So my biggest thing for people is, even if you're starting small, just start somewhere, just do something. Because you're going to mess up, whether you like it or not. You're going to mess up. You're going to lose some money. You're going to make some bad choices, but you also won't make them choices again because you'll learn from it.
Right?
You won't do it again.
You're going to learn from the mistakes, baby. Like, hold up.
Exactly.
My friend was talking about, she was like, oh, I spend money. She was like, she's an impulsive buyer or whatever. She's like, oh, I bought this, or oh, I did this or that. I said, girl, did you research that on YouTube? I'm like, girl, you need to call me. Like, don't just be out here spending money. People don't just got time to be just spending money out here. Like, you gotta be smart with how you spend it. One thing you said earlier is that you have a team, and I wanted to ask you, like, any tips, or how did you even figure out how to start a team? Like, how did that go? Because I feel like a lot of people in entrepreneurship, it's like you're on your own, you don't know what to do, you want help, but you don't know how to gain help and stuff like that. And so, like, I wanted to know how you created your team, or how you envisioned it and brought it to life. Like, how did you do that?
Yes, that's a good point. So honestly, I tried to be like a formal, I'm not an HR person by any means. So I held a formal interview process to really build my team. So I literally, I posted my job opportunity on LinkedIn. I created my own job description. I put it on LinkedIn, not LinkedIn, sorry, Indeed as well. I think it was Indeed, LinkedIn, wherever I could post it. And I got lots and lots of applicants, but then I also had to comb through those applicants. And so, I mean, I'm not going to lie, it was a really hard journey to build the team. We lost people
Mm-hmm.
along the way, mistakes were made along the way. But I think that we kind of have found a core group. And believe it or not, my first ever team
Mm-hmm.
member that I brought on, I met her at a panel. I went to NC State to speak on a panel that I wasn't even supposed to speak on. They called me last minute. And a girl came up to me
Mm-hmm.
after the panel. You know, I had spoken the panel, and this girl said, "Hi, my name is Hannah, and I really just love what you do, and I have international studies degree." She's like going just on a roll, and I'm like, okay, I did not plan on hiring anybody. I was still very new to everything, but she was so passionate,
Mm-hmm.
and something in my gut was like, okay, I need to find a way to get this girl on my team. So I scraped together my budget. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, scraped together a budget and said, okay, I can pay you hourly, and I'll have you do these few projects. I brought her on last May, and she has been with me for, it'll be a year next month, or yeah, next month in May. So it's just, well,
Yay!
yeah, so it's just
That's good.
insane to see how things happen.
Mm-hmm.
And she has been the best right hand girl I could ever have had for my company, to be honest with you. So
Yes, that's good. That's good that you said that you was like professional, like LinkedIn. We ain't doing this talk and do this like no LinkedIn. You said you put it on and you did the resumes and stuff like that. That's really good
mhm.
because I do know like some people don't have enough money to hire a team. Sometimes that could be kind of hard. Do you know anything about bartering services, or have you bartered with people? Or are you just like, I'm paying my employees, like that's what I'm
So,
doing?
well, for us, we have contractors, so it's different from employees. So I'm
Oh.
able to pay them based on the project. So Hannah, which is my right hand girl, she's our
Mm-hmm.
travel lifestyle expert. She basically
Mm-hmm.
gets paid hourly based on what she does. Then I have a couple interns that are from NC State that they don't get paid, but they get to
Mm-hmm.
create things for their portfolio to use. And then,
Yes.
yeah,
Come
girl, and
on. Because I got some
I tell
interns
you,
too.
people, when they're passionate, it doesn't,
Mm-hmm.
luckily, if passion is there, it will exceed money sometimes, because people can gain other elements and other benefits from it. And
Mm-hmm.
then finally, my sales team, I would call them, they are paid based on commission. So if they sell something or get a product moving or create a contract deal with a company, we'll pay them that way. So I have a lot of moving parts, a lot of moving parts.
Okay. That is a lot of moving parts, and that is good too. I should have found you last your travel. Why should I miss me?
Yes. Look,
Just
we'll
kidding.
be doing
But
more. So definitely, if you're interested, let me
yeah.
know.
Oh yeah. So you sell products and services basically. I just
Yeah.
like in
So
general to dealing with mental health,
I
or
would say they're
it just
more
in
so
general.
kind of a tie between mental well-being, life coaching, kind of life discovery. What we do is our retreats are each, and our events, they're all hand designed. So they often start with a theme. So what are we trying to get people to understand? Is it
Mm-hmm.
how to manage their stress? Is it how to find their purpose? We come up with a theme, and then we design everything else around that theme. The biggest part of our company that makes us unique is that we offer experiential learning. So we're doing activities, interactive sessions and discussions. So that's what I'm all about. I hate when people say, let's just do talk therapy or let's just do boring panels. I love letting people actually try things. So we'll do physical activities for them to tangibly learn these tools. And that's what I'm all about. So I love that hands-on experience. That's the best way for someone to understand themselves, is when they're able to jump in hands-on and do things and explore their purpose and their values. And they're writing them out, they're sitting on the beach, and we're collecting rocks to show, or seashells to show, like, you're carrying the weight of your past on you. We love to do very symbolistic things to help people understand what they're doing in their present life, because when you leave that retreat or that event, I want you to go home saying, wow, I will never forget this activity or this part of what I did. I'm going to use this forever and always refer back to it. That's the goal.
Okay, that's really good. I see what you're saying now. Okay, it's more clear now. And so one thing I do want to ask you, like knowing how this ban affected you, and I guess in your business, because you said you do events and stuff like that. And I guess we can't do events now. So how has the challenge been, like doing it virtually? Have you got more success, or has it been harder?
Well, out of all truth, at first, I'm not gonna lie, it was very devastating at first. Like, it was very overwhelming. I was I'm not gonna lie, I went to my shelf probably for a couple weeks when it first happened, when all this happened with the coronavirus, because I was like, oh my God, everything I built, all these events I have planned for this year are going to be impacted. I mean, it was devastating. But after some time, some prayer, and some real reflection, I was able to say, okay, I
Praise the
know,
Lord.
right? I was able to say, you know what? I can't stay in this place forever. I can't do this forever. That's fine. I get time to mourn. Go ahead and mourn. But now where am I going to go from here? And so that's when we started transitioning to offering virtual options. And believe it or not, within a couple days or maybe a week, I was talking about me offering virtual stress workshops, and a company reached out to me and wanted me to lead one for their team. And they paid me to lead a workshop virtually for their team. It was interactive. They loved it. The reviews were raving. They ended up calling me back to lead another workshop virtually. And they called me again. So it just, you know,
Yes. Okay. 3 times a charm.
yes.
You in
So that's
there.
what, and so we've slowly but surely have been finding ourselves matriculating virtually. So we've been doing pro bono events for nonprofits and helping them. I've actually gave an event to people living in a shelter, helping them with stress and stuff during this time, virtually. We're doing lots of things. And so I'm feeling very full right now in what we're doing and very happy.
Yeah, that's really
Yeah.
good. And you don't know like what those doors can open to, because I mean, when we can travel again, maybe they can even bring you there, or you can just start going to different places and doing stuff like that. And you don't have to be locked down to North Carolina and different things. And I feel like virtual is good too, because you can connect with a whole bunch of different other people
Absolutely.
around the world. And so I think that's one thing too. It's just like as being an entrepreneur, kind of you have to be
Yes.
adaptable. Like you have to be flexible. Like you have to know how to lean in, lean out, figure out different things too, and stuff like that. And that is what we were talking about earlier. It's like you might not want to just fall into entrepreneurship sometimes, because you have to have. There's so many moving parts. You got to figure out what things are going to happen. And I mean, like not necessarily like you're providing a service too. You're not necessarily providing a product. And so when that comes in, services like, okay, how can we do this? Like, do we want to do Zoom? Do we want to do Facebook? Okay, how can we FaceTime? Or like, I can't get in the event, I can't book this place. And just thinking about different ways how to, you know, add value but still have that profit that you're able to gain to pay your
Absolutely,
bills.
absolutely. And the great thing about virtual is there's less overhead, so that does help. And we do have an apparel
Mm-hmm.
kind of part of us, but we don't really put a lot of effort in it. The apparel, I'll just order it. If someone orders a product, then I'll just order it myself and then ship it to them. So it's kind of like a drop shipping model where I'm not having to have a bunch of stock on
Mm-hmm.
hand. So that's kind of what I do now. So
Mm-hmm.
that's something small that we do, but the bigger part of us, I would say, are definitely the retreats and events. And you're absolutely right.
Mm-hmm.
Giving back during this time in any way that I can, that's using my talents, is where, I'm very happy to do that. And I'm very grateful. We also have a service where we're helping other people that have events virtually, especially in the mental wellness space. We're helping them learn how to make their Zoom events interactive and engaging for their audience. And so that's another service that I'll be doing. And I'm consulting for people to help them, because a lot of people don't know how to make this transition. And so I'm just there to really help
Mm-hmm.
in the best way I can. And in some ways it's going to be profitable for us. So we making it work.
Yeah,
It
right.
is what it is. We can't stay in that dark
Mm-hmm.
place forever. Yeah. And then even with our Kenya retreat that we have a retreat to Kenya that we had to move out till next July of 2021. We were able to retain over half of our travelers. And so that's how committed, people were to still traveling with us, which is awesome.
Yes, that's good. And I really hope to be able to come. But you said it's in July, and I'm so sad because I just realized that I was trying to go to Haiti in July. I'm just gonna figure something out though.
Kenya's once in
That-
a lifetime. I tell you, girl, it's going to be
Have you been
amazing.
already?
So I have not gone to Kenya. I've been to over 10 countries. I've been to places like Thailand and India and Austria, France, England. I've been to a lot of other places, but I have not been to
Really?
Kenya.
I can't wait to touch the motherland. I wanted to touch the motherland this year, but don't know if that's going to work out.
I know, I know.
And so yeah, and I want to go to Thailand so bad. I'm so sad. I really want to go to Thailand. But I've been wanting to go to Haiti for forever ago. So we'll just see what even
It'll
happens for
happen.
the rest of the year. Yeah, I just got to figure out something. But yeah, Kenya looks so cool. I was watching stuff about it, but I also like, I want to go to Ghana, South Africa. I just want to go all over the continent of Africa.
Yes.
And I just hope that with this travel thing that I do, I hope it works out where I can be able to do some more traveling. I've done a lot of traveling, but 2020, it might just be a rebranding or something. That's why I'm like, it's kind of so hard because if we can't travel, I really can't do nothing. That's my struggle. And so I was like, I'm trying to figure out different things, trying to figure out different things. People were like, just stick with it, stick with it. Well, how can I stick with something if I can't go nowhere?
Well,
It's,
you can travel in your backyard, travel up the
yes.
street, and talk about the journey up the street. Look,
Yeah,
here is the
right.
la sala, the living room, all
Yes.
that.
Like, okay, well, while I'm not traveling, I guess I'm going to do this and do that or something. So that's the only hard part about it is now. And so I was like, because I was so stressed, I was like, okay, well, I need to find something that will, like, no matter what happens, no matter what's going on, I still can do it or whatever. And that is when that consulting and coaching come in and stuff like that. But I just feel like so many people call themselves that, and it's just like overwhelming. And I do like to do things, but I'm like, okay, since I'm already kind of known as travel and different things like that, I guess I'll just stick with it and I see where it'll take me. Because I have, like, you said I have a YouTube channel, but I have a blog as well too that I just started. And so it's just like trying to figure out how to do all these mediums and trying to figure out where I can put it at, where I cannot put it out. Because I like creating content, so like that's what I want to do. But it's just so much when you don't really know what to do. Like you kind of just fall into it, honestly. I
Absolutely.
feel like I just fell into it because I had a blog when I was in undergrad, and I was like, okay, and I was like, okay, I still like to do it. Then I started my podcast. I really like the podcast because I was listening to podcasts. Then I was like, okay, YouTube, like it's just kind of like I fall into it and I do different things, but I didn't really know that whole world about monetizing and content creation and being a content creator and then doing this, and then you hear courses, books, and blah 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 blah. Who this is overwhelming.
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, there's a lot
And
of
yet,
places you can go with these things, but I think that, like
mm-hmm,
I said, it's about dipping your toe into things, kind of figuring out, what works, what doesn't work. Maybe try
mm-hmm,
one of the free version of an e-course and see how it works and try to promote
mm-hmm,
it and see. One thing that people suggest is also promote products before you even make them. So sometimes what people will do is they'll say, I'm going to have this course and it's going to launch in 6 months and register for it today. And so people will go ahead and promote it and try to sell it to see kind of what the demand is, and they
mm-hmm,
they do it from there. And so that's kind of what we do for retreats. Before we get too deep into booking and stuff, we'll go ahead and pre-promote and get people going. Once we kind of get established number of bookings and we're in a good place, then we'll kind of go further. So we kind of, it's a tiptoe kind of a back and forth process. And
mm-hmm.
I'm offering a free 30-minute stress mini retreat in a couple of days, or no, in a couple of weeks or whatever. And one of the things that I did was, I put it out there before I really created it. But luckily, most of the spots have been filled. So now I feel confident that it's worth my time and that I can do
Mm-hmm.
it. Mm-hmm.
That's true. That's true. I like it. I was supposed to take a group too. I was supposed to actually go to Cuba and I was planning to do it and stuff like that. But I kind of, it was in September, so I'm laying low on that one. I don't know if I'm going to try to do it next year or something
Yeah.
like that. But I'm like, okay, the travel, I don't know about that one. But I definitely see what you're saying. And that's why I guess in my sense, it's kind of so hard. Like, so your mental health, your mental wellness, I meant to say. And so you can do like different things or whatever. When it comes to travel, it's like, I have nothing to teach or nothing to put out there besides let's go travel.
But you know
Let's
what?
go travel.
Affinity groups are really popular. People want to travel in a specific group. So maybe even if you take just millennial women and just say, hey, this is going to be for millennial women, people just like that. It's not always about, because,
Mhm.
not everybody wants to travel to learn or to grow. Some people want to just travel for fun too. So
Oh yeah, but that's the whole part. We can't travel.
I know, I know.
That's the hardest part
Well, you
because I
may have
can't
to do
travel
something
though.
domestic.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that could be true. Yeah, I don't mind doing domestic, because people aren't really trying. People ain't trying to really go out the country and stuff like that. But
Hmm.
oh yeah, domestic one might be good in the end of the year. But yeah, I guess that's what the hardest part is, and it's like trying to branch out. And I know like different things I like to do, but it's like, well, they be like, well, be an authority, and it's just all this other people would just be saying. I'm like, y'all are stressing people out, and then it's so hard to figure out how to find your target audience and target market. But I've been doing some research and trying to just learn as much as I can in this time. So I would say that's the good thing about this time. It's like, well, can't go nowhere, can't do nothing. So I'm just learning and researching
That's awesome. That's
and just
awesome.
trying to figure out, what you can do and what I can do, what I can try to do, and like the things I'm like, okay, I need help with this, or I need to learn this and different things like that. And you can't really learn everything. So I definitely think that you do need a team and that you can get some interns and stuff like that. So that's why I was talking about that earlier. But it's kind of so hard to just figure out where to go and what to do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Especially in that industry, it takes a lot of trust. So that's what it comes down to. It's all about trust.
Oh yeah, like yeah, in the travel industry, I know. I'm like, there's so many people up here, and they're doing this and doing that, and that's the thing too. Like comparing, you like you got to kind of stop comparing yourself, whatever. That's something that I have to learn too. I'm like, this is my first year, like actually like saying like I'm a content creator or something like that, or trying to make this, and it's just like everything. Sometimes it's like, what? How do people do this? How do people do that? Like they got this, they got this. This is so quick, and it's just like, but you don't really see the behind the scenes or whatever. And that's gonna be me. I'm like 20 years ago, y'all. 20 years ago, this was not me.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I'm gonna
And
have that testimony in that story.
I love it. I'm proud of you. I'm telling you that compare and
Mhm.
despair will get you. You can't do
Yeah.
the compare and despair. I heard it. After that phrase is such a true phrase. I used to get caught up in other retreat companies and what they were doing, and at the end of the day, no one's gonna do stuff like Sabriya Dobbins in the way that we do it, in the way that we
Hmm.
have Project Passport, our mission, our values. Our core is our stuff. So I really try hard to let that be the forefront, and slowly you will grow confident in your brand. You will begin to grow more confident in yourself every year, every
Hmm.
obstacle, every time, every day.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Definitely, yeah. So, I would just be like, don't compare yourself, which I don't really do it that much anymore. But being freshly new into a different industry is kind of hard with wanting to do. But yeah, I'm like, I want to do retreats. I'm like, how are people doing this? I've been wanting to do a retreat forever, and it just don't ever work for me. But I'm like, I'm gonna figure out something. If I can't do retreat, just do small things. But I'm like, okay, I know this, I like this, and whatever. And so one thing I did want to talk about is like, do you know your purpose as a entrepreneur? Do you feel like you found your purpose? Do you feel like this is your passion? How do you feel it is with your journey? I guess I
Absolutely.
should
I
say.
mean, I have been very blessed, to be 25 and be in a place of being in my ultimate purpose. I have never felt I did. So my first conference event I put together through my company was back in August. And I remember leading my first ever kind of conference workshop event. I made it so the conference was interactive and people did different activities. It was more of a workshop feel than a true conference. I remember the exhilaration I felt after I gave my short keynote address and after I led the different activities, and people were just love. I mean, it was that moment I looked to my aunt. She was my photographer for the event. And I said, Aunt Samara, this is where I need to be. This is exactly what I wanted to do. Because I had a room of, I think it was 40 plus women in that room. And I remember someone telling me that, how are you going to fill up an event? You don't know anybody. How are you going to, you don't have a big time speaker. I remember someone I really cared about told me that. But when that event happened and the success we found, occurred, I knew that I could do anything. And I knew that I was living my purpose. And I have never looked back. I'm telling you, I love, I do a little bit of kind of pro bono coaching here and there. Eventually it won't be forever, but, I help people with their businesses and their purpose and, kind of from starting and just getting to that starting point. And then also, just doing these activities, doing these workshops, even if it's virtually, it's so fulfilling because I love when people message me and say, oh my God, thank you so much for this. I use this at my job, or I used this the other day when I was feeling stressed out, or, oh my gosh, I got the job. I quit. One girl, I had worked with, she messaged me the other, a couple months back and was like, oh my God, Sabriya, I'm so glad me and you met for coffee that day because I left my career in engineering, even though that's what I thought I wanted to do. And now I work in a higher ed role, but she went to higher ed and she is more happy than she's ever been. And it was all because we really pushed and had that discussion and I broke it down to her. So
Mm-hmm.
that's how I
Oh,
know I
yes.
love what I do. I love helping people create the life they want to create because I think we should all feel joy.
Me too.
Yeah.
That is what I'm trying to do too. What is pro bono coaching? Can you please explain
Pro
that?
bono means basically you just give things for free and you give it, way just, no, it's not a monetary exchange. So mainly they just will give me their reviews or their
Oh.
feedback. I get their feedback and their reviews to be able to build up for when I do decide to go to paid. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I
Oh,
probably give
okay. I
way
see
too
what you're
much pro
saying.
bono stuff these days, but right now, especially with everything going on, I try to do what I
Mm-hmm.
can and it always pays
I
back in its own.
Yes, I feel like that too. I was talking to somebody else yesterday, and they're like, "You're good. You're good at giving ideas. Like, I'm good at networking. I'm good at connecting and stuff like that." And I was like, "Yeah, I know, but I'm trying to figure out how to monetize it. I don't know how the heck to monetize it or whatever." She's like, "It's okay. It's going to come." She's like, "It's going to come. And you're going to figure out something," which I still ain't figured it out. But it's like when you know that you're good at something, you don't always want to turn it into something. But it's like when you want to figure out how to keep that leverage going and what you know that you're good at, and being able to turn that into something that can profit, so you can keep doing it. It's just so hard.
Yeah, and that's the hardest part. But once you
But
do it, it's
mhm,
fulfilling, and it's. I tell you, I mean, when I got paid for my first corporate, virtual workshop, I was like, "What do I charge these people?" Like, I literally did, because she was like, "Yeah, send me the invoice," and I'm like, "What do I invoice? Oh my god, what do I charge?" And I'm learning, and it's I had someone else
mhm,
want me to consult for them, and I didn't know what to charge. And so you'll learn, and you will not probably put enough
mhm,
value in yourself at first because you don't realize just how
mhm.
great your product is. But after a while, you'll start to realize, and
But
it'll adjust itself out.
hmm But yeah, I definitely understand. Like this podcast, like I do it for free. I love doing this. I enjoy doing this. I love connecting with people and love providing resources to people, through this podcast. Like this is a podcast for that. So it's like this is something that I love. I know that you can do this full time. I don't know how the heck I could do it full time, but I just stuff is out there, whatever. I'm just gonna keep on
Keep on
trying to,
doing it.
figure it out and doing whatever.
Yes.
But I did want to ask you, I don't want to take up all your time, but I did want to ask you, did you have any tips, I guess, advice for emerging entrepreneurs, people, mental wellness? I know our conversation kind of switched, but
Yeah.
I didn't really know how it was going to switch like that. But hopefully it's
No,
okay.
it was great. It's great. I love all of it. I've never been such an advocate for entrepreneurship in the way that I am now. One big thing of advice I give people is not everybody should be an entrepreneur, and not everybody's built to be an entrepreneur, and not in a, it's not in a mean way. It's
Mm-hmm.
just it really does take a lot of emotional kind of a toll on you. I remember there's days that I am like not wanting to leave my bed because I'm so depressed and overwhelmed by things that have occurred. But there's days that I feel so high on the mountaintop because we have, I got a great feedback from someone, or we got a great kind of event that we had, and you cannot bring me down. So I think that one big thing I say for entrepreneurship is just make sure that if you're going to do it, make sure it's something you really care about. There's people who start businesses for products they don't care about, and they end up really miserable no matter how much money they're making. And that's not worth it. If
Mm-hmm.
you're doing something and you
Mm-hmm.
don't feel any type of excitement, if it does not keep you up at night in a way where you want to be up at night dealing with it, I mean, there's been so many late nights. There's been times that I've hosted events that no one showed up to. And, I got there, I was in the car, I cried. And if I would have sat there and just gave up, I would not be now where I have events that are filling up within the first day, or I'm getting half the seats full in just the first day. You know what I'm saying? So you have to get to a place where you are in love with what you do, because that's what will keep you going. If you don't love it, if it feels forced, then you might as well just go ahead and give it up, because it's not worth it. It really isn't, because those hard moments, you need that passion to carry you through.
Most definitely. That was a great tidbit to end on. You need that passion to carry you through. Yes, that
Thank
is
you,
good.
Alicia.
So if y'all looking to be, yes, you're welcome. Thanks for coming up on here and sharing some gems with the people. So if y'all want to become an entrepreneur, stay tuned and listen to the different journeys that are happening out here. If you don't want to be an entrepreneur, that's fine too. Just boss up in what you want to do.
Absolutely.
You don't have to be an
Yeah,
entrepreneur.
you can
Everybody doesn't have to be an
freelance. There's
entrepreneur.
all kinds of things
Mm-hmm.
you
You can have a side hustle,
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Or you can love your 9 to 5 if you're in the right one. So totally agree with that.
hmm Yes, just create. We just want to stress create the life you want,
Yes.
that you want to have. So that's all for me. And I thank you for coming up on here. And y'all make sure tell the people where they can follow you at.
Yes, you can follow us at Project Passport LLC on Facebook and Instagram, on Twitter at Project PLLC. And then also visit our website. I am always there, happy to talk to you. I even run the chat at project-passport.com.
Yes, thank you so much. Make sure you all go follow her and support her and stay tuned for her trips. And the virtual stuff that will be happening probably the rest of the year.
Absolutely.
We
Absolutely.
don't know if we're going to get out.
Thank you.